Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Sticky Note Marketing. I am Mary Zarnecki. I am your host. I am a marketing strategist, speaker, consultant, and coach working with both big brands, but especially those entrepreneurs who know that they have a gift that they need to share, that they need to get it out in front of the people who need it most. So this show is all about giving you the straight deal on what's working now in marketing to make that authentic, irresistible connection with your buyers. So what I wanted to share today was one of the biggest mistakes that I see both big brands and entrepreneurs make when it comes to trying to make their message matter to their audience. So if you are a service provider or a product-based business, this is for you, because one of the things that I see, no matter what size business you are, is that people forget to start with what conversation is going on in the audience's mind. It's not about all the buttons and switches and levers and awesome company history or your story necessarily. Story is important, but I'm going to share with you my Mba method to making sure that that story actually matters to your audience. So the biggest mistake I'm seeing many businesses make is they forget to ask what's important to their audience, to their ideal target customer. And what happens when we do that is we don't meet them where they're at. We need to enter the conversation that's going on in their head. What do they care about now? What's their pain? What's keeping them up at night right now? Not necessarily what do we need from them, but what's keeping them up at night right now. So if we understand that, then all of a sudden we could shift from being a best kept secret to a profitable authority, an in-demand expert. And we do that by asking key questions from our target audience about what they need, what are they struggling with, and then the brilliance comes when we can actually pair what we're able to provide, our solutions, our products, to that need, and providing that in a way that's meaningful to them. So the way I like to share this with my clients is what I call my MBA method. So I am actually one of those rare marketing and business coaches that actually has an MBA. And so this is my little cheat sheet method for figuring out how to make your message matter to the people who need you most. So we start with the M. So the M is all about the market. We can't give someone a core benefit. We can't message them unless we truly understand them. So where we start is we dig into who that target audience is. Who are they? What do they look like? What kind of things do they consume in terms of media? Where are they listening to information, gathering information about your segment, your market, your niche? What are they using now to solve the pains that your product, solution, or offer solves? Are there dissatisfactions with that issue? Where are they still feeling like they have an unmet need? And how potentially is your solution going to solve that? So by digging really deeply into the market, understanding them, and then speaking into that, even using words that they use to describe their pain, not your expert language, right? Not your technobabble, but actually the words that they're using to describe their situation right now is going to be essential to making your message matter. So the B in MBA method comes from benefit. So like I said, we dig into the audience so that we can truly understand what's most important to them. Because the last thing we want to do is be launching a product or an offer or a program that we think is totally awesome. And as an expert, we know it's what our audience needs in order to have a transformation, but it's not what they want to buy. There's a huge difference, and this is a big mistake that a lot of businesses make, both new and experienced, is they're creating offers based on what they think people need or what they know people need, but they're not tapping into what people want to buy. And so if we start with the M, we understand the market, we understand what they want to buy, they understand what they think their problems are, what they're stressing over, what they're staying up at night thinking about. The B is then making that connection. So the B is your benefit. What is the benefit that you're bringing through your product, your solution, your program, your offer? And I'm not talking about superficial benefits. This isn't, so for example, when I teach this workshop to large organizations like Starbucks or 3M or Dole, I have an example I use, which is of Michelin tires. So if anyone remembers the wonderful ads for Michelin tires about when so much is riding on your tires with the baby and the tire, that's an emotional benefit. And it speaks into the deepest fears of their ideal target audience that they were speaking to in that campaign, which are parents that are terrified that something's going to happen to their family that they're transporting in this vehicle. And therefore they're relying on when the rubber literally meets the road, Michelin tires to protect their family, to enable them to protect their family and provide that safety. They're not talking about tread. They're not talking about steel belts. They're not talking about what kind of rubber they're using in their tires. They're not talking about buy three, get one free and competing on price. They're talking about a core emotional benefit that if you are that target consumer that they're speaking to, that has that concern, that has that desire to protect the baby in the back seat, you will have an emotional connection. You will have a reaction to that messaging. That's what I want for you to bring out in this B part of the MBA method, is the benefit. What benefit, emotional benefit, are you going to be sharing that's going to connect to their deepest desires? And then the last part, the A of the MBA method, is going to be the attraction. So this is where we actually take the knowledge and the intelligence you have about your market that you figured out in the M part, the promise and the benefit and all of the things that back that up in the benefit part of the MBA method, and we bring it together in an attraction machine. So the A stands for attraction. So when you're doing this, basically what it is we need to get those messages out to people in a way that actually will magnetize them to your business. And we do that through several different ways. When I'm working with my client, it really depends on what they have in terms of their resources, right? We either pay in time or we pay in money. Hey, thanks for jumping in, Lauren. So when we're doing this in a customized way, obviously there's different levers we can play. But what I'm sharing with you today is you need to get out there and be consistent, because we get tired of our message way before it even lands with our audience. So it's one of those things where we could say the same thing over and over and over again, and 15, 17, 20 times later, someone may actually call you up or send an email or hit reply on a message that you're sending to your email list and be like, oh gosh, I'm so glad you shared that. That's so new and novel. And yet you've been talking about it for a while, because it needs time to land. So that's why we create this attraction machine, to make sure that we're getting these messages that you've worked so hard to define out into the market to the people who need them most. So one of the ways that we can do that is to create a free informational offer. So I'm going to be giving you guys a link to my free action guide to help you create your most irresistible lead magnet offer, so that you can start bringing those people into your world, so that you can use that intelligence you know about your marketing, so you can use the promise that you're creating in the benefit statement, that emotional benefit statement, and actually bring them into your attraction machine using a irresistible lead magnet. So grab that guide, it's free, and I'd love to hear from you. So pop down below in the comments, what is most challenging for you when it comes to this method? Is it digging into and understanding your target audience, finding them? Is it crafting a truly connective, magnetic, emotional benefit statement? Or is it coming up with the attraction machine? So I'd love to hear from you below, whether it's the M, the B, or the A that is tripping you up and causing you problems, because I may be able to pull something else from my treasure trove and send it off to you to help you get over that hurdle. So thanks again for joining me today on this week's episode of Sticky Note Marketing. I look forward to joining you next week, same time, same channel. And if you want to check out any of the back episodes, the replays of any of the episodes we've done previously, we talk about everything from sales funnel design, strategy, email marketing, content marketing, and digital marketing, so we can get your offers in front of the people who need them most. You can find those at stickynotemarketing.com. Cheers. I will see you guys next week.